Tuesdays for this Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. I'm your host, Russ Williams. I'm so glad you could make it here today, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army. I know you could have been anywhere in this world today. I know you could have been anywhere in this world today, but you decided to be with me. I appreciate that, and more importantly, I appreciate you. So welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my friend, here in New York City. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, we have an action-packed show once again. I got a special guest you can see on my screen. I'm going to introduce this young man again. All right, we're going to introduce him. But before I do that, I always like to state my intentions for the show. And my intentions is to give you the opportunity to laugh, smile, think, and engage in honest conversations about your life's transitions. So that's what we do here on Transition Tuesdays. And speaking of Transition Tuesdays, and speaking of honest conversations on Transition Tuesdays, I want to introduce my special guest. And my special guest is no stranger to the Transition Tuesday stage. He's always repping the BX. This guy's always repping the BX, man. Anyway he goes in life here. And he's here, and he's here this evening representing everything Oregon Ducks. Because as everybody knows, it's always duck season. It's always duck season here. So ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, please help me welcome back to Transition Tuesdays, Mr. Chuck Martin, to the stage.
Thanks for having me, man.
No problem, sir. No problem, man. Man, I'm so glad, Chuck. I got a chance, because I'm so happy for you, my brother, man. Getting a new job at University of Oregon, man. And it was such a thrill, man. Having you back on here again, Chuck, because the last time you was on, I want you, later on we're gonna get into it, but I want you to share the story because some people might have missed it, Chuck. The story how you were supposed to be Benny Blanco and Carlitos with. We're gonna talk about that. You got to share that story again because that is such a great story.
Of course, absolutely, man.
Yep.
I want to start off by saying thank you, man, for inviting me a second time.
No problem.
I always feel like you invite me because you feel bad for me because you beat us in 1980 something.
87 to be exact. There, Chuck.
I try to erase that from my memory, but clearly you remember the date, the time, the year. So I feel like, no, Russ just keeps inviting me so he can bring that up. He sneaks it in there every once in a while. I did beat us, man. I remember.
Oh man, those were the days, man. Right, Chuck? With no worries, no problems. High school basketball. Everything was free. He had no worries, no concerns. Just go out there and play ball, man. That was it.
That's it. It was awesome.
It
was a good time in New York.
Yes, absolutely. So Chuck, man, hey man, I'm gonna do a little trivia today, man. Now, Chuck,
Okay.
Now, can you name all the stops that you had along the way in your coaching profession? Can you name like all the places you were, like in order in which you were?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can do that? Okay.
I'd be remiss if I don't mention the first two. I was a high school teacher before I got into college coaching. So my first stop with teaching and coaching was LaSalle Academy. Then I went to St. Raymond's High School where I played. And then I got into the collegiate ranks. But before that, I was at the hoop group with Rob Kennedy. And then I went into college coaching. And I started out at Manhattan College. Then I went to UMass. Then I wound up at Drexel. Man. Then I came home to St. John's University. Then I went to Memphis. Man. Then I came back home to Marist. Then I spent 1 year with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Wow.
Then I went to Indiana. Then I went to South Carolina. And I am currently at the University of Oregon.
Man, wow. Hey, Chuck, that's impressive, man. Man, how you could run that down in the order in which you were there. That is impressive, Chuck.
Russ, I've been super fortunate, man. All jokes aside, I've been so lucky to meet all the people that I've met throughout my 24-year career, and to work alongside some great people and some great institutions. You've known me for a long time, man.
Yep.
I'm still the same kid from the Bronx.
Yep.
Who's gone on this incredible journey, and if someone had had told me 25 years ago that this would be my career, I probably wouldn't believe it, because I've been fortunate, man. I really have. I really have.
Yeah, from a guard who played guard, was a guard, and yourself who was a guard. So when you were at the University of Indiana, because a lot of people may know, the reason why I wore number 11 was because Isaiah Thomas. That was my guy. That was my guy I worshipped. So how was it, man, coaching at the alma mater of Isaiah Thomas, man?
It was exciting for me because it forced me to be really, really good at my craft. Places like Indiana, they just don't exist. They're unique.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they got so much history, so much tradition. Every era, every decade, there's just an Isaiah Thomas or a Victor Oladipo or Yogi Ferrell, Mike Woodson, Bob Knight. So what happens is, you've got to be really, really good. You got to be really good at what you do. You got to be who you're telling people you are.
Right.
Because if you're not, they call you out on it. And because they've had so much success, and they've had they've got so much history. You've got to be authentic. You can't fake your way. People know. That guy can't coach. That guy can't teach.
Right.
He can't do a scout report. He can't do an individual workout.
Yep.
And I think the great thing for me every day was you just never knew who was going to pop up at practice.
Wow.
And so every morning you woke up excited, but you also woke up with you felt a sense of responsibility to the history of that program, and you did not want to let that program down in any way.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Yeah, like you said, Chuck, you can't fake the funk when you're at institutions like that. Indiana's. No. You can't do that when you're at Memphis. No. And now at where you are with the Oregon Ducks as well, man. Too. Yeah. Hey, so Chuck, talk to me about the transition, man. How has the transition been from South Carolina to Oregon? How's that transition been for you thus far?
It's been great, man. Dana Altman and the staff, Kevin McKenna, and Mike Minigan, and everyone else, they've been tremendous, man. As you well know, anytime you're transitioning from job to job, in my case, job to job and coast to coast. I've never lived on the West Coast,
right?
And I've never lived in Eugene, Oregon. It's completely different from South Carolina, and it's for sure completely different from New York City.
Yep.
So I think having the support of the staff, helping me, bringing me along slowly, has been tremendous. The guys on the team have been great in regards to welcoming me with open arms. Great. I literally did a podcast about 2 hours ago.
Wow.
For the University of Oregon. It's been really good, man. It's been I could not have asked for a better transition. It's been good. The people have been great, and it's exciting. I just wake up every day learning something different.
And you know what, too, Chuck, man, I've been seeing you looking strong on social media. And I've been seeing your office dwellings and everything. Your office over the practice grounds. I think it was over. I don't know. It might have been over a mountain. I don't know the way the video was showing off, man. That was hard, man. I was like, whoa, this. Yep.
You know what, Russ? The place is incredible.
Yeah.
And in today's day and age, with social media, I try to post. Really, most of my posts are about work.
Yep.
And I just, trying to get the word out, trying to get the brand out, particularly for some of the kids on the East Coast and the Midwest who maybe have never been to Oregon.
Right.
I can give them a 30-second window to kind of look and see what our offices look like, what our facilities look like, and hopefully that generates enough excitement where people are saying, you know what, I'm willing to take the trip and see what Oregon basketball is all about.
Definitely. Hey, on the check-in, we got the voice of the Jaspers, our guy, Uncle Smooth, Chris Williams, joining us. What's going on, Smooth? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays, my friend. We also got Karen joining us. What's going on, Karen? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Hey, Chuck, man, question for you. So, I would imagine the recruiting game has changed due to social media, like you're saying, like you can get the word out, about Oregon, on video or on a post, whereas you had to make the trip in front of people, to show them what the campus is about. So I guess social media has changed the game, I guess, in that aspect, right?
Yeah, 100%, man. Social media. There's some things that I struggle with in regards to social media, but there are some other things that are super beneficial if you understand how to use it to your advantage. And I think one of the things that we've all learned is during COVID is we don't have to be face to face anymore. I mean, it'd be nice, but like right now, you and I are not in the same state.
Right.
And we're able to connect and we're able to interact with other people and share stories. So I think social media allows a guy like me in my position to share Oregon in a way that, you know, technology in the past just didn't allow us to do. Yeah. And so the world is much smaller. We're more connected in some ways. So yeah, social media has been tremendous. You know, as you mentioned earlier, you know, I try to post some stuff on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook as well, and just try to be current so parents and kids and fans can kind of follow me along this journey that I'm on. So social media is great. It's great. It can be tremendous.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it can be a great tool. You know, that we you know, we take advantage of, especially in the 21st century. Hey Chuck, so talk to me about like how did Oregon become, you know, get on your radar? How did that the transaction come about for you to link up with the University of Oregon, the Ducks?
You know what, man? I've been so fortunate, and I know it sounds like a cliche, but I really have, man. I've been lucky throughout my career. I've never submitted a resume in my 24-year career prior to getting the job.
Wow.
And, you know, once I got the job, obviously for human resources, you got to submit a resume. So I've been a big believer, just kind of who I am in life. My resume is when you meet me. My resume is my energy. Right. Obviously, my name is Chuck Martin. That's, you know, you can Google it, all that stuff. But that's not who I am. Right. Who I am is my energy. And to answer your question, what happened was I never met Dana Altman before. I had no relationship with him. I've never met him. And that's rare because I know just about everyone in this profession. And I've never worked on the West Coast. He's never worked on the East Coast. And what happened is he had an assistant, Chris Crutchfield, who got a head coaching job. And when he lost Chris to a head coaching job, he needed to replace him. So he was actually calling around asking for 2 or 3 other guys. And I was fortunate enough when he called people that he trusted about 2 or 3 other guys. I was the recipient of those guys saying to Coach Altman, "Hey, Chuck Martin's not a bad name if this is what you're looking for." And initially, I think, you know, Coach Altman, he didn't know me. We had no prior relationship, no connection. I just think he probably felt like, you know, I don't know him. He's not from the West Coast. I'm sure he's a good guy, but it's not what I'm looking for. But as time went on and he continued to make phone calls asking about other guys, again, I've been fortunate enough, I think, to treat people the right way. And as I mentioned before, my resume is not on paper. My resume is my energy. And I got lucky. The people that he called, you know, without unbeknownst to me at the time, they were putting my name out there. And eventually he just kind of reached out, just sent me a simple text, introducing himself and asked me if I had interest in talking. So, but I've been super fortunate to work with, you know, Frank Martin and Tom Crean and John Calipari, Bruiser Flint, and Norm Roberts and Bobby Gonzalez. So I think you know, 23 years of doing it with all of the guys that I just mentioned kind of validated me, gave me some validation and gave me some credibility when it was time for him to kind of research and dig in on me. I think it was a 23 to 24 year, you know, my body of work over 23 years is what got me the job, I guess is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. You know, Chuck, you're like that actor who doesn't have to audition. You know what I mean? Just look at my reel. Just call people about me, man. That's all you got to do.
No, you know what? Don't say that again. Talk like that. I appreciate the compliment, but I've never viewed myself that way. I've always just felt like my thing is be good to people, try to live in the moment, which is really hard in our profession. We're always thinking about the past, and we're always thinking about the future. But I've just been so lucky, Russ. And when I get an opportunity like I have one, like right now with you at this moment, I try to take full advantage of it, and I try to do the best I can at that moment. And hopefully somebody sees it or hears it. And then, you know, my whole thing is a week from now, someone may say, you know what, I was listening to Russ. He had a guest named Chuck Martin on there. I really like that guy. And really, that's kind of been my career. I've just been, you know, I've taken advantage of working for Frank and Tom and Cal and Norm and Brew, and it just kind of worked out for me. It's worked out for me. I've been super fortunate. I've been super blessed in my career.
Definitely. Hey, John, we'll take a look at a couple of people just joining us. So we got my guy here, my man Ralph Colon. My boy Ralph Colon says, wow, that's amazing. Now, Ralph and I, we were freshmen together at Powell Memorial Academy, so we closed down the school. Wow. So I'm definitely that glad, you know, that Ralph is on here. And Ralph says, Raphael says, definitely put in the work. No need for a resume, just the body of work and the great coaching you have worked with. Would love to meet you and pick your brain. Yep. So I guess my boy Ralph, he might be a budding coach. All right, Ralph.
Hey man, I would love to connect with Ralph and help in any way I can. You can, you know, I'm not one of those guys like you could just call me. You can nowadays you can DM people, right? Like it's amazing.
That's facts.
Just like reach out to me, and I would love to connect with Ralph and as we mentioned, build that relationship with people.
Absolutely, Take advantage of that, Ralph. He's that guy, man. That's facts. That is definitely facts. We got Felicia checking in from the Rock. What's going on, Felicia? Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. And Felicia says she loves the quote, "My resume is my energy." Love that expression. There you go. You coined that, Chuck. See what Chuck does? See?
No, you know what? I'm just a firm believer, Russ. Like you know, when you meet someone, you're either gonna walk away feeling good about them, or not feeling good about them. And I just, you know, I'm not. There's certain things I'm just not good at. Right? Like there's certain things I struggle with, but interacting with people and building relationships with people, I've been blessed that way. And you know, I try to come across with good energy, try to be authentic, and hopefully you walk away feeling like, man, I like that guy. And sometimes, you know, people don't even know why they like me. They can't. They couldn't explain it to anyone. They just walk away and say, I like them. There's something about them. So I've been lucky that way. I've been lucky to have that ability.
Yeah, you know, like what Maya Angelou's once said, you know, people are not going to remember what you said to them or what you did, but they're always going to remember how you made them feel. So,
that's right.
You know.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Russ.
No doubt about it. Yep. As Chris says, positive energy is a gift. That's right. That's Chris's mantra. Should be everybody's mantra as well. Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, so Chuck, man, I want to talk a little bit about recruiting. So, I know you like that master recruiter. You're that guy who, you know, when we have visits, you know, official visits, you know, going into people's homes and everything like that. Yeah, I mean, when Chuck steps into your place, you know, I know Chuck, and I know Chuck for years. He's going to get the job done. So most likely the kid is probably going to go to the college or university. So is it like something that you, like it's a go-to, or it's like something you can't explain how these people, you know, become, you know, connected with you, Chuck, you know, on the visits and, you know, the phone calls? Is there something that you can pinpoint, or, you know, is there a secret? Is there like a secret sauce what you do, Chuck? Because you're very successful in what you do, man.
You know what? Every recruitment is so different, and I've tried to look at it that way. You know, at some point in my career early on, I was trying to figure out if there's a common denominator, like a formula. And really what I found out, every interaction is so different.
Yeah.
And I really don't know, Russ, like early on, like when it's going to turn. But usually at some point in the recruiting process, you get this feeling in your gut, at least I do, like this is the moment to press down. This is the moment to go get them. And sometimes, you know, you miss out. You know, obviously, you don't. I haven't gotten everyone. You know, I've struck it out, you know, a number of times.
Sure.
But you know, I've had my share of like pretty good recruits over the years.
Right.
And,
definitely.
I don't know how to. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. You just got this feeling in your gut, like I can do It's like I can connect with this family. Like this is gonna happen. And it's hard to kind of write down and articulate. It's just a feeling, man, that you get. Like there's a connection here, and you just got to survive the other programs, because you're usually recruiting against other programs that are really good, really successful, and sometimes there is a connection, but you may have a disruption because the other programs are getting paid too. Like the other coaches are getting paid to recruit this guy too.
Yeah.
And so you just got to survive that wave of like, I think this is going to happen. I feel like it's going to happen, but man, I just got to keep these other schools at bay. I got to keep these other programs away.
Definitely. Hey, so Chuck, so now you're at the University of Oregon Ducks. From the famous Pac-10 with all these, historic schools and your colleges and universities. Is there one school that you're looking, like step foot on, like for the first time, like to, is it Poly Pavilion, I guess, at UCLA and stuff like that? Is there like that one school, besides your school, obviously, of course, because, one thing about University of Oregon, that court, man, the way they do the court and the silhouette and all, I don't know what the heck it is. It's like you playing in the water or something. I don't know what the hell it is, but
it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yep. So is there like that one school that you're looking forward to facing that particular college or university at all, or is it all of them?
I just think, for me, it's all of them. I'm just, Russ, I'm from the East Coast, grew up in New York.
Right.
I made my bones on the East Coast. I've been fortunate to be a part of some great programs in this country.
Yep.
But I think the fact that the Pac-12 has so many good programs that I just never been a part of. I've never competed against them, never recruited against them. So being able to maybe compete against Arizona, play in Arizona, have Arizona come visit us, USC, UCLA, Washington, like those programs have been tremendous over the years.
Yeah.
And so I think the league itself in its entirety has me really excited. Not one school in particular, but just the fact that I'm going to be in LA in February competing against USC or UCLA or in the Phoenix area, going up against Arizona State or Stanford or Cal Berkeley. Like it's just amazing for me. It's an exciting time for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. And I made a mistake. I'm so used to been saying it the Pac-10, for years, but it is the Pac-12 now. And as Bill Walton says during the tournament of champions, he always states that too. Yeah,
that's right.
Definitely. Hey Chuck, do you you've been coaching, you've been doing it, long, for pretty much a long time, like almost like half your life basically, So is there do you have like a core of like coaching comrades you come up with, or guys you can lean on, like times of struggle, you can call this guy, you can call that guy. They could be head coaches or assistant coaches, trainers, whoever. But do you got at least five of those guys you can really count on and lean on? Maybe you want to go over some X's and O's, or just just talk about life. You got those five guys in your circle?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Good.
Every place that I've left, I've always left on good terms.
Great.
So, and that's not always the case in our profession. A lot of times guys get promoted, get demoted, their careers go up, they go down, and relationships are damaged. I'm not one of those guys. So I feel super fortunate that I can pick up the phone and speak to Frank Martin, who I think is one of the best coaches in the country. And I feel that way about all of these guys, whether it's Frank or Tom Crean or John Calipari, Norm Roberts, Bruiser Flint. I just all of those guys are so talented in their own right, and they're so good at certain things. Every once in a while when I find myself needing some guidance or some help, I'll call those guys and they'll guide me in the right direction. And Troy Weaver has been a friend of mine for a long time, who's with the Detroit Pistons. He's the general manager, if I'm not mistaken, vice president of basketball operations.
Wow, okay.
He's a guy that I've admired, and I've followed his career, really followed his path. He was an assistant at Syracuse for years, and then went on to become a scout in the NBA, and then now, 20 years later, he's the big dog. He's the guy with the Pistons.
Yeah.
So I've been fortunate to have a guy like him or Sam Presti, who was president of basketball operations for the Thunder.
Yep.
All of those guys have been great, and all of those guys have helped me shape, my career.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I find myself struggling with a challenge, whether it's a personal challenge or a professional challenge, I'm able to use those guys as resources and call them and say, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about this? And so, again, super fortunate to have those guys in my corner.
Yeah, perfect. And, you mentioned Frank Martin. Frank Martin has the best stare in the business. That guy, he gives you the death stare, it's over.
He's great, man. He's intense, to say the least, but he's a tremendous teacher.
Yeah.
Tremendous coach who's going to do some great things at UMass.
Absolutely. Oh, that's right. Oh, he's at UMass now. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Man. Hey, Chuck, man, I was going to ask you the question. I had it written down here. Hey, so I have coaches on here all the time, and I always ask them the same question, how this transfer portal has really changed the game for recruiting, right? So I really want to get your, Chuck, because you've been in the game for a minute. I want to get your pros and cons on the transfer portal because, as an outsider looking in, I wish that was available. I mean, for me, I would have did my business in Manhattan and then, moved on to something harder if I could, for a year. That sounds like a good thing to do. But, what are some pros and cons to the transfer portal that you're seeing out there?
Well, I think some of the pros are that if you've got a group that you got a bunch of seniors and they're graduating, you can rebuild your program quickly through the portal. So if you got a program that you've got seniors who are graduating, or you've got kids who are moving on to play in the NBA, they're talented, they decided to leave early, you can kind of survive that wave of kids leaving by doing it through the portal. I think the cons to it is you don't know what your team is going to look like from year to year. So you essentially, in some ways, you're not an NBA franchise, because I don't want to be reckless and compare it to the NBA, because it's not. But you're starting to lean in that direction, like it's free agency. So your team today is not going to resemble itself a year from now, because it's been proven through the transfer portal that you have over 1,000 kids transferring. So that means that it makes it a little bit more challenging to predict a year from now, what are your needs? Do you need a point guard? Do you need a center? Do you need a shooting guard? Well, you don't know, because you've got 3 freshmen that are really talented, but they may put their name in the NBA draft, or they may say, you know what, I want to go closer to home, or I want to go play at a Power 5 school. So I think you've got to be a little bit more patient now. You can't project too far down the road or project too far into the future what your team's going to be like, because really none of us really know.
Right, definitely. Yeah, man. It's really changed the game. It's definitely changed the game. And speaking of change the game, but before I ask you this next question, though, Chris wants to know, have you met Phil Knight yet? And then we'll get to the next question.
I have not. I've not been fortunate enough to meet Mr. Knight yet.
Okay.
I am really looking forward to doing it. Obviously, he's one of those iconic people that you read about, and he's got an inspirational story. I mean, he revolutionized the world, right?
Yes.
I mean, here's a guy in 1971, I believe 72, changed the way we view sneakers. Not only here in this country, but around the world, and created a movement of this is what athletes should look like. This is what they should wear. So I am unbelievably excited to meet Mr. Knight, and if I'm fortunate enough to have a few minutes with him, just pick his brain to see, what was it that inspired him to do this? Because it's easy to say, hey, Nike's a great idea today in 2023, but in 1970, 1971, Nike didn't exist.
Right.
It just literally did not exist, and he created this out of his imagination, which is phenomenal. So to answer Chris's question, I've not met him, but I'm looking forward to meeting him soon.
Definitely. And speaking about changing the game, you got the NIL, the name, image, likeness. So Chuck, you a former college player. Like, if this was around when we played back in the day, do you think you would have some stuff set up? You have some endorsement deals set up, because the way you style of way, great player you were, would you think you would take advantage of it? And do you think the NIL is hurting the college game?
Yeah, good question.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I wasn't as good as you guys.
No, Chuck.
No, I'm serious. I wasn't as good as you guys, but I think my creative side of my mind would have allowed me to take advantage of the NIL, not necessarily because of my talent on the court, but because of what the NCAA allows you to do. I think I would have been creative enough to say, hey, I'm a nice player at Monmouth. Maybe I can run a day camp back in the Bronx. Maybe I can do a clinic in the Bronx. Maybe I can, take advantage of getting a free haircut back home if I can just, take a picture of it and post it somewhere.
Yep.
So I think me being who I am and how my mind works, I think I would have been able to take advantage of it, not necessarily because of my God-given ability on the court, but because of my creative mind.
Right.
And I think it's a good thing. I like the fact that players are able to benefit from their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
It's good for them, for those guys. I do think that we're in the infancy stages of this process. So anytime you're in the infancy stages of anything, you don't know what the ramifications are going to be. So I think that's the one thing that you just got to be careful. I think it's great for the players to make money. I want them to make money. It's their talent, it's their name, it's their image, it's their likeness. But it's all new to us. So I don't know what the like the tax ramifications are going to be. You get paid X amount of dollars.
Right.
You got to pay taxes on that.
Right. That's true.
So now all of these logistical issues come up. So I'm not sure if it's going to hurt the game. I'm not smart enough to predict that yet. So I'm still learning as we go along. But I do like the fact that they're able to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness.
Cool. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, Transition On. If you just joined us, I'm here with my good friend Chuck Martin, who's the second stint on Transition Tuesdays. So we love having Chuck on here too. And Chuck, man, I got two more questions for you, and I know and I appreciate the time you sharing with us here today, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no problem. The first question I had, I'm just looking here on my notes here. So, how is the team looking for you coming up? Because University of Oregon, really fresh out of the Final Four a number of years ago, not too far removed from the Final Four. So, how is the team looking for you guys, and how you guys looking in the Pac-12 this upcoming season?
Well, I think the early predictions are pretty good. Coach Altman and staff have done a great job creating a great culture at Oregon. If I'm not mistaken, they've won the Pac-12 5 of the last 8 years.
Wow.
As you mentioned, been to the Final Four, been to multiple Elite Eights.
Yep.
I think having guys return, veteran guys who put their name in the draft. Quincy Guerrier put his name in the draft, but he's returning.
Okay.
Will Richardson put his name in the draft, but he's returning. One of our big fellas, Dante, 6'11" kid, who's got a chance to be really good. He's coming back.
Great.
So I think the fact that we've got veteran guys who've done this before, with a combination of really young, talented kids coming in, I think we got a chance to be pretty good. I just don't know how good yet.
Okay, great, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah. I think John Rothstein, and I know it's really early. I try to avoid this, but for conversation's sake on your show, I think John Rothstein came out with early predictions this week. I think they had us at number 16.
Okay. Wow.
Top 20, and I think some early predictions for the Pac-12 had us number 2 behind UCLA. So I think people are excited about this year's team. But it's so early, as you well know. We've got a long way to go. We got a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah, definitely. So, and Chuck, will your role change at all? Like, will you be more on the bench more, or would you be on that, be recruiting on the road a lot, or would it vary?
Yeah, I think I'm still learning that as we go along. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I've been fortunate to work for some really good coaches at really good programs.
Yeah.
So I'm prepared for whatever Coach Altman wants me to do.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have my hands on player development.
Okay.
Really big this summer, trying to help our young guys get better, as well as our returning guys.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, recruiting is the pipeline. It's what allows your program to grow and succeed. So whether it's Oregon or South Carolina or any other place, you've got to be able to recruit quality people and talented guys if you want to do something special.
Definitely. Yep, and Chuck, I'm going to leave you out with this last question, man. I appreciate your time as always, Chuck. We're going to be in contact.
Absolutely.
But I just want to share this story if you missed us the last time Chuck was on here. So it was a great movie in the early 90s called Carlito's Way. You know, who was, his name is escaping me for some. Al Pacino. Yes, Al Pacino. Sean Penn was in that. Man, some great guys in that. And it was a great character named Benny Blanco from the Bronx. That was his official title. It wasn't Benny Blanco, it was Benny Blanco for the Bronx. And then, so when we had Chuck on here last, Chuck was telling us the story. Chuck, if you could just share the story about how that particular role came on your desk or on your radar, and what happened, and what happened to shape the course of cinema by you not getting this role. But talk to us a little bit about it, man.
You know, it's funny. I don't want to embellish the story. What happened was I was young. I was right out of college, and so I graduated from Monmouth University. And honestly, I didn't have a job. There was no jobs, so I'm trying to learn how to put a resume together. I'm back home in New York. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I don't think I shared this part of the story the first time.
Okay.
The head coach at Bishop Loughlin, Ed Gonzalez, I don't know if people realize this. 25 years ago, he was in the entertainment industry. He was an actor.
Really?
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Ed would pop up in commercials, and then he would be in print like ads in the New York Times, and he would be like an extra on a show or a movie. So Ed was the one that kind of got me thinking, because I would ask him, I'm like, what do you do for extra money? So he kind of shared what he would do. He'd go audition for these plays or movies, and I was literally right out of college. I'm like 21, 22 years old. And so one day, I was at home living with my mom and dad in the Bronx, and it just opened up the Daily News. There was no Twitter back then.
Right.
There's no Instagram. So you would open up the paper for the ads, like who's hiring. And there was an ad that I think still exists, a place called Actors Rep. And it was on, I think it still exists on 58th and Broadway.
Wow.
And it had like an 800 number, you would call it, and you would essentially schedule like an audition. So one day, Ed just he was on my mind, and I was young, and I had nothing to lose.
Right.
So I called the 800 number, and they literally said, yeah, come on down. So I remember walking in and getting on the elevator, small little elevator, and when the elevator opened up, it was kind of like an office space, and you could tell immediately like the people in there were like real actors, or they were trying to be real actors,
right?
Because they were rehearsing like the line, and I didn't know what I was doing because I'm not an actor. I was just doing this to have some fun.
Sure.
So I had like a Yankee hat on, a T-shirt, some Nikes on. I literally walked in and gave them my name, and they literally gave me a clipboard with a line from the movie Raging Bull, and with De Niro, and they literally said, just read this over a few times, we'll call your name. And sure enough, after like an hour, receptionist said Chuck Martin. I walked in, sat across the desk from a guy, and he literally just said, read the line. I read it like 2 or 3 times, and he says, all right, we'll call you. And really, I walked out of here thinking, it was fun. It was exciting for me to do it, but whatever. And sure enough, like about a week later, I got a call from the guy. I never forget, his name was Richard from Actors Rep. and said, hey, you came in and read last week. We think we can get you work. And if people remember in the early 90s, it was the first time that you saw like TV shows like 21 Jump Street, Hill Street Blues, like all of these TV shows were on there with black and Spanish actors.
Yep.
Malik Yoba had a TV show with a Spanish guy.
New York Undercover. New York Undercover. I saw it this past weekend.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. So there was like this thing happening on TV.
Yeah.
And I had a basketball background, so I think they felt like, you know what, maybe this guy can do it. So they called me. Make a long story short, I came in, I read again. They told me to get headshots, and really I didn't believe it. And they said to me, they got these things called weeklies. And the weeklies are essentially every week there's a newsletter that goes to Actors Rep, and they're looking for a specific person. Black guy, white guy, Spanish guy, tall guy, short guy. And that particular week, there's a movie being shot called Carlito's Way with Al Pacino, and there was a role in the movie for a guy named Benny Blanco from the Bronx. And in my bio, I'm Spanish, Puerto Rican, grew up in the Bronx. And they thought that this would be like it. So they called me and I read, and to make a long story short, I just thought I didn't realize it was real. I thought they were trying to hustle me and I had to pay money. So I did audition at Actors Rep, but I never actually showed up to the film site. And I remember the guy Richard calling me like livid, like angry, like, hey, we set this up, you never showed up. They said you never showed up. And at that moment I realized it was real. And so you fast forward 3 years later, a movie takes like 2 years to film. And there's John Leguizamo.
That's right.
Who, like, I don't know if he was famous or not at the time. Maybe he was, but he is now.
He is now. Benny Blanco from the Bronx. He said, "You remember me?"
So, yeah. So that was my my 30 seconds of fame, or at least attempting to be famous. And so it never developed into anything, but I always felt like I had a passion for the arts. But you know what, this is life. I wind up being a coach, and it's been pretty good for me.
Definitely. Hey, and Chuck, man, so keep that in mind, because Carlito, Benny Blanco did live because he killed Carlito. He killed him, so they might make a sequel, and guess who might show up on it, my man, Chuck Martin.
Benny Blanco at 53. That's
Still here, still in the Bronx.
I love it.
Oh man, that is so cool. I love that story, man. You just never know what life shows us and what life has in store for us. You know what I mean? That little pivot there got you into coaching for all those years. You know what I mean? It's just different paths, man. Which is great.
That's
man.
right. That's right.
Yep.
Russ, man, I appreciate you. You're doing an unbelievable job.
Thank you, Chuck.
I follow you guys every week. I think what you do is awesome. I think what you do is necessary. It's needed.
Thank you,
and
Chuck.
more importantly, I love the way you do it. You do it with humor and humanity, and you're real humble, and it's you make this really easy, man. So I appreciate you doing it, man. Keep doing it. Don't stop doing it, man. Keep growing this platform.
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna be watching you, man, from afar. You know what I mean? I might just pull up one day, man. I might just, I might need a ticket or so, man. University of Oregon.
Hey,
you just let me in, Chuck.
Hey, look, you're always welcome out west.
Okay.
We'd love to have you. I'm gonna put you on the spot. You got to give me this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You got to work on it now.
I know. I got to work on it, though. I got to work on it.
Hey, from the Bronx to Eugene, Oregon, man. The O.
There you go. What a life. Hey, Chuck, man, I appreciate you, brother, man. We're going to be in contact, man. God bless you and your family, man. And keep it going, man. BX style. BX all day.
Thanks, Russ. Appreciate you, man.
Cool. Thank you, Chuck.
Yep.
Okay. My guy, Chuck Martin. Oh, man. Unbelievable. Great storyteller. Man, he is starting that transitional journey in the University of Oregon, never coast in the West Coast. Man, gonna have a great team there. It's gonna be doing a great thing, inspiring things, man. That's what Chuck does. That's what Chuck does. He's trying to call me right now. I'll get to you, Chuck. As we finish up here. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, if we were able to make you laugh, smile, and think during this broadcast, my good friends, you have accomplished something major today. So celebrate your victory. Celebrate your victory. As I get to my theme music. Yes, sir. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for you watching Transition Tuesdays each and every Tuesday here on Transition Tuesdays. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't been following me, before we get to that though, obviously, okay, we have a YouTube channel, Transition Tuesdays, and I would love for you to see this episode and past episodes. Go on there and make sure you like and subscribe before you leave the channel as well. You can always follow me on Instagram at Russwill Transitions. That's Russwill Transitions, okay, with an S. Please do so. Please follow me. And I want to give an awesome shout out to my guy Chuck Martin for coming in, stealing a couple of minutes with us today. Appreciate you, Chuck, man. Chuck Martin is going to be doing some great things as he normally does, man. This 24-year odyssey of coaching that he has been embarked on, man. Shout out to you, guy. Shout out to you, Chuck, man, from the BX. Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. So guests of Transition Tuesdays receive a candy gift pack, compliments of our sponsor, Sweet Candy Cafe. Now, Sweet Candy Cafe is the home of Southern Sweetness, located in downtown Lumberton, North Carolina. So after the show, we're almost done. So after the show, make sure you go to sweetcandycafe.com and purchase your confectionery goodies, all right, that you can order home and abroad, all right, so there's no excuse. All right, so make sure we support those small businesses, black-owned businesses as well, from that guy that's Miss Sweetness, Miss Felicia Evans Long. So make sure we do that. Make sure we go to sweetcandycafe.com. So ladies and gentlemen, Transition Army, as we say in parting, happy transitioning. We'll speak to you soon. Take care, everybody. God bless.